Okay. And we're live. And it's December 10th, 2023. On the East Coast in the United States of America, it's about 4:45 p.m. Or as my mother would say, a quarter till. It's a quarter till what, Mom? It's 4:45 in the U.S., and I'm excited to record this podcast today because I genuinely have a lot that I want to talk about. No, let me rephrase that. I genuinely want to talk to myself. I just got done writing some thoughts down in the journal. There's no video episode today. The vibes are different. As you might have noticed, there was no words in the intro. It was just the music. And off goes the heat. So there's not going to be as much background noise unless my cat decides to be a bad boy, in which I will call him Frederick. That's right. So, yeah. You're probably wondering, all right, well, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I've had the past 3 days to reflect on circumstances, life, professional careers, jobs, relationships, friendships, family, hobbies, God, amongst other things. And to be quite frank, I was very scattered. These last few months during open enrollment. It turned me into a anxious worrier. It turned me frazzled and frantic. You get the point. It made me go insane. I was constantly worrying. And yeah, I can hear that in my headphones. My cat's fucking around, whatever. That's the thing is, I need to learn to stop caring. There's a great meme with Pepe the Frog. It says, stop caring. That is literally all you have to do. And I jotted that down twice today. Because I don't know if it's in the astrology sector of Scorpio or if it's just in my genetics or if it's in my nature, upbringing, but I was wired to be a worrier. Wired worrier. Now we're going to change that into warrior. That's right. That's off the top, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't jot that one down in the moleskin. Hey Fred, come here, bro. Quit fucking with that plastic. Come on, dude, please. Trying to make it sound a little bit professional here. Let me give him his fucking catnip. Hold on. All right, and whether or not he uses his catnip is out of my control, you see. There are a lot of things that are out of my control. And one of the greatest things AA taught me was acceptance. That's right. If you're not familiar with AA, you can Google page 417 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it says acceptance is the answer to all my problems. You know? Radical acceptance of what is, of what was, and what will become. That, I believe, is one of the major keys of life. Accepting what you cannot change. It's like the fucking serenity prayer, dude. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let's just talk about the first part for a minute. See, there's a lot of things that I cannot change. I would like to, if I could, you know. I would like to say I wish I performed better during open enrollment to make a extra maybe $4,000 or $2,000. But fuck it, it's over. It's the past. I worked to my best. I performed as good as I could with the tools that I had in the moment that I was in. And, you know, that is something that needs to be accepted. There's a lot of things that I need to accept that I'd rather not get into too much detail about here because that's my personal journey. That's what prayer and close friends and journaling are for. See, this is in the public. This will be released on YouTube, so slave workers in the Philippines can listen to this. I don't want them to know about the real demons that haunt my mind. And yeah, kind of had a pretty cool revelation today after jiu-jitsu. This was my first week back in weeks, and I got slammed, I got tapped, I got choked out. Ultimately, I got humiliated, and I got embarrassed. And see, all of these adjectives are really just forms of fear. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of not being liked or not being the best. And there's a lot of things that I do that I carry a lot of fear with doing. There's a lot of weight that I carry on my back. Figuratively and physically, I'll be traveling with a big backpack, flying out tomorrow, and my back hurts, actually. I injured my back, believe it or not, this morning in jiu-jitsu, to the point that I was in my bed trying to stretch, and I made like a shriek in pain. I've known pain. I know pain. And this shit fucking hurt. So there's a beautiful thing, and it's called a toolbox. And it's up to me to use it. I was sitting here journaling, listening to some jazz, getting ready to record some stuff, and I looked right in front of me on my desk, and I have this massage gun. You know, the answers are in front of you. You just have to open your eyes. Or I just have to, rather. I have ice. I have Tiger Balm. I have a foam roller. I have a yoga mat. I have stretching techniques. And I have water to hydrate. I have a lacrosse ball to roll also on my back. Basically, what I'm saying is I have the fucking tools. And, it's up to me to use them. And it's hard. It's not easy. Just because I have these tools doesn't make it easy, you know? People that struggle with depression and stuff and can't get out of bed in the morning, it's like, you'd like to just be able to tell them, well, just get up. Just put your shit on. Goggins style. Go for a run. Get that endorphin rush. But sometimes it's just not that easy. You know? The shortest answer is, yeah, just do the thing, you know? The shortest answer is doing the thing. I do love Nike for that. Just do it. That's a hell of a fucking tagline. But, can't do it alone, man. I can't do it alone. And these past 2 months, I've been alone at home. I just got the cat at the tail end of it. But he's not a person. He doesn't have empathy and advice to give and a life of experience. So that's why I talk to humans, man. I talk to people in the sauna that I'm friends with, and I talk to people on the phone, and there's therapy, there's professionals out there. I like to think that the only people that can resonate with me are people who have been through it. And that is definitely true to a degree. But it's also good to get perspective from someone who is trained or educated or whatever. So trying to come into this year with an open mind, open heart about that kind of stuff, because someone that I know in the professional industry of recovery, they own a treatment center, but they never had a drug problem. And I used to say, well, what the fuck do they know about addiction? Well, look on their wall. I mean, they have a master's degree, doctorate maybe, whatever. Have they snorted their savings away? No. But there's a guy or a gal who has, and they can offer their perspective too. So, for me, it's about being open-minded and having a perspective of having a new perspective is what it's going to be about. It's really funny because prior to, I'll say, November, I was very close-minded on astrology and the moon changes and all this stuff, but I don't know, man. December 7th was a full moon, and it signified a reset, the Great Reset. And it was interesting because it was almost like a metaphor, because that was the last day of open enrollment at the job that has taken more happiness from me than any other career in my life. And that was the last day, and that was the same day that we had a full moon that signified resetting. So that's what I've been doing these past 3 days. I've been resetting and I've been reflecting. I don't have the fucking answers, but I do have a program, a method that I've been approaching that has been showing results. Because you can go into a meeting and talk about the problem all fucking day. That's fine. Sometimes You just need to vent. But it's also good to talk about the solution. Venting, let's talk about venting for a minute. Venting is great. That's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm just venting on thoughts and emotions. You see, and it feels good to vent because it is a release. It is a release. It's a way to literally release and recharge. But then how do you rewire, right? And for me, that looks like the word action. That looks like doing. There is a program of recovery, and there is a 12-step process. A lot of people I know just attend meetings, which is great. It's better to go to a meeting than not go to a meeting. But you see, step 1 is the only step out of the other 12 steps that acknowledges that there is a problem, you see. Step 1 is where we admitted we were powerless and that our lives had become unmanageable. And that hurts. Step 1 sucks. I've done a first step a lot of times with a sponsor. But what do you do after step 1, you know? It's where you take action. It's where you take an inventory. And it's where you rely on other people and give up your will and concede to the program. So, I guess in a way, that's where I'm at. I'm at the crossroads between 1 and 2. I think on the morning of December 8th, I was at step 0. And it's really nice to just come back from that, take a 3-day soliloquy, and acknowledge that there is action I can take about it. There's some doing that can be done about that problem. So that's that. Shout out to the people who got me to do video episodes. I appreciate it. I appreciate the compliments and acknowledging that it would be entertaining to see my face as I say these things, but I didn't feel great doing it, looking at myself, and not in like a depressing way or anything. Like, I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. Not like that. Just, it didn't feel natural. It felt forced. It felt Hollywood. It felt too much. It felt too Hollywood. It felt too much like production. And that's cool and all. I love visual art and watching Matt and Shane on the podcast, and I love watching movies, and I love a good scenery. Vision is one of the most beautiful senses we have, but today's an audio-only episode. I don't know what tomorrow's episode will look like, and I don't have to worry about that because, like I said, it's 4:00 Eastern Standard Time, but the real time is now. So I'm just going to be here now, And in the Bible, it says the truth will set you free. Well, what Hollis told me was the breath will set you free. And I have that plasterized on my wall in my room because being conscious of your breath is the most efficient way for me to come back into the moment, to stop worrying about what has been or what will be. Yeah, I took a yoga class yesterday for the first time since before COVID. The last time I went to yoga was before COVID, and that's almost 3 years ago, man. And so, yesterday I went, and I gotta say, man, those yoga hippies, they're onto something over there. Connecting the body with the breath, in a different way, in a more spiritual way. I'm never gonna stop working out, listening to fucking Megadeth in the gym, blasting kettlebell swings. I'm never gonna stop doing that. Sweating my ass off on the Stairmaster, doing 100 burpees for time. I'll never stop doing that stuff. But sometimes, I learned yesterday, you need to hit the fucking brakes, kid. And reset and relax. And just breathe. Anxiety's a bitch. I was in the yoga class yesterday, and I'm very aware of my surroundings. I'm hypersensitive to my surroundings. I can see if someone's coming from a football field away. It's just how I was wired. And I was just observing the class, and what came to my mind is, wow, social media has fucked up so many people. That's what came to my mind. You can go on TikTok and Instagram and see these $1 million models, and there's no way for me to attain that level of physique or financial status unless I either 1, take steroids, or 2, continue in a career that takes my soul away from my body. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. No, I don't want to live in a fucking van by the river and, go to the fucking Manna food bank or whatever. I'm not talking the far end of the spectrum here. I'm talking about balance. So, I'm sorry, David Goggins, that you don't require balance, but 99.9% of us do. And see, when I was a personal trainer, I was full Goggins mode. It was get after it, don't be a bitch. It was a very radicalized way of thinking and living. The colors I wore were masculine. Today I decided to put on a fucking sweater. It's interesting, man. It's so interesting, and I'm such an overthinker, man. I'm such an overthinker. When I first took CrossFit in about 2015 was my first class. I remember the coach telling me that he thought I was an overthinker. Fast forward 7 years later, I'm in jiu-jitsu. Different coach, same thing. Kai, you're overthinking the move. Just do what I instructed. You're doing good. So, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to fall short. I know I'm going to. I know I'm going to. Here in about 10 seconds, I'm going to question what I'm saying. And that's okay. Because awareness is the first step towards liberation. But no, literally. Knowing it is far better than being fucking oblivious and not willing to change, or thinking there's something wrong with you, or thinking you're defective and making excuses and pointing the finger. See, that's what you call a fixed mindset. not wanting to change or learn or improve, making fucking excuses, not adapting or overcoming. And like I said, it's hard. But the opposite of a fixed mind is a growth mindset. So, took that with me today in class. I said, all right, I'm not going to overthink it. This time I'll just keep doing it, keep going. And it worked. It worked. You know, I said to myself, yeah, man, you're overthinking it. Just do the move. We were doing back escapes. Average person probably doesn't know what that means, but it's okay. There's a lot that goes into it. You know, you got to frame the hip. You got to walk your feet out. You got to pass their legs. You got to almost pinch their arm with your arm. You got to do the Wu-Tang grip and pull their arm over your head and pull it out, not up. I mean, there's so many moving parts to jiu-jitsu that I see why so many people come and go. You know, they're fucking quitters, man. They're bitches. No, they're just not willing to accept growth as an opportunity. They're not willing to lose. They want to be comfortable. I would love that. I would love to live in a world of comfort where I'm a fucking black belt making $1 million and I'm fucking 180 pounds full of muscle, you know. But that's not reality. So, accept or die, man. I mean, literally, that's the name of the game. So, this past week was rough, man. It was the last week. We were pulling 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. Decided to go to stand-up on the last night and completely bombed and probably had my worst set out of all of them. I've only done about 6 sets, you see. So I need to remind myself that I'm new. I'm new at all of these things. I'm new at jiu-jitsu. I'm new at comedy. I'm new at podcasting. I'm new at everything. I just turned 30. I have all these hobbies that I want to get done that I was trying to balance with this hectic work schedule, and it wasn't working, and it burnt me out. You know? So reflecting on that a bit too. What is January going to look like? Am I still going to be doing a podcast? Or am I going to be putting that away to work on jiu-jitsu? Or am I still going to be podcasting, but I'm not going to do stand-up? I don't know what that looks like yet. I would love to say I'm going to keep doing everything. You know, most people I know, you know, I got a good buddy of mine. He works hard. He makes a lot of money. But he doesn't do a lot of other things. He's into a certain sport, we'll say. You know, and that's what he does. That's his thing. You know, I know another guy who he works hard at his job, and that's his identity. He's a cook. He's a sous chef. That's his thing. What would be really cool is if I could just do podcasting for a living. You know, just do that. But in life, you got to work, man. You gotta make the bread. You got to pay rent, bring dollars in. Especially these days where, you know, I just paid fucking $8 for a McDouble. You know, it's crazy out here, man. It is so expensive to go out to eat and to fill up your car. You know, the grocery store, everything's expensive now. So, What am I gonna do with that? Am I gonna chase a career that makes $100,000 that I can buy 8 McDoubles a day and be fine and still be able to save $1,000 a month? Or am I willing to accept a pay cut, do something that fulfills me, doesn't stress me out, only be able to afford 1 McDouble a day? That's my analogy. I know it's a shitty one, but no, see, there I go with the judging. That's a great analogy, honestly. Be able to afford, 1 sandwich a day or whatever, and maybe save $500 instead of $1,000. Hell, maybe you only save $200 a month. I don't know what January is going to look like. I do have some prospects. Shout out to the folks that I've talked to in the career world out there in the professional industry that have gotten me an opportunity to get some interviews in. But yeah, man, I'm going away tomorrow. I'm going away for 2 weeks. And I'm going to be moving around a lot. I'm not going to have a lot of time to sit and reflect. But I'll get my meditation sessions in, don't worry. I'll get my journaling in on the trains. I'm hitting 4 countries in 12 days. I'm hitting 8 cities in 12 days. A lot of people would probably rather do 2 or 4 cities in 12 days, and that's fine. Maybe that should have been the alternative, but I don't know when I'll be able to go to Europe again. I want to see the cathedral in Milan and the fucking Pantheon in Rome and the Eiffel Tower and the fucking Abbey Road shit in London. I want to see it all while I'm there. So I'll be moving around a lot. I'll be on the trains a lot, which will be kind of cool. They're not like subways in New York, dirty and filled with rats and crime. These are classy. Trains save I looked up some crazy statistic. They save 95% of carbon emissions than airplanes do. So I like that about that industry, the railroad industry, These trains have, apparently, is what I've heard, they have restaurants, and if you're in first class, there's a fucking bed even. I'll be in basic economy, which is fine. It's fine. Doing Airbnb with my homie in London for a night. We'll be staying in the Kensington district of London in a flat. For you American scum, that means an apartment. We're doing London for 1 night. I'll be landing at 7 a.m. Monday. I'm not meeting up with him until 3 p.m. So I'll have 8 hours to explore London. And then once we get to the Airbnb, we'll have the next day, and then I think our train leaves at 6 for Paris. And we're doing 3 nights in Paris. Now, I know I said on an episode what the neighborhoods in Paris were called. They start with an A. Let's see, what are neighborhoods in Paris called? Okay. How do you say that word? Let's find out. Arrondissement. So, a French department for local government administration, a district of certain large French cities in particular, Paris. So, an arrondissement is, think of New Orleans, Charlotte. They have the 4th ward, the 5th ward. I think we're saying in the 7th arrondissement. Most cities here, we have just neighborhoods. You have Cobble Hill in Brooklyn. You have Silver Lake in LA. You have Southend and Charlotte, right? Here you have arrondissements, so that's kind of cool. And cool, learned a new word today. So 3 nights in Paris, we're going to be doing a lot. So my friend, he's basically the tour guide for Paris because I'll be honest with you, I booked so many different things in Italy that I said, Paris is in your hands, dude, because you're leaving and I'm going to Italy by myself. And I booked the Vatican museums and the Colosseum, and I want to see the Pantheon, and I have all these restaurants and coffee shops that I want to go to. And then on top of that, I'm going to be in Florence. I'm going to be in Milan. I want to see the Duomo. Is that what they call it in Milan? The Milan Cathedral. Really beautiful architecture in the Milan Cathedral. There's really nothing else I want to see in Milan other than that. Although I was getting my hair cut today, and the guy told me that the Last Supper, the original painting, is in a cathedral in Milan. So that might be something that I want to see. The Milan Cathedral is
Duomo di Milano.
Duomo di Milano.
Duomo di Milano.
Cool, dude. Thank you. Yeah, that was my producer. His name is Vinny. He's sitting there in the corner telling me how to say these words. But no, and then I'll be in Venice, the canal city, right, with all the little boats and going to different ports in the city, I guess. Venice is small as shit. In between Paris and Italy, I'll be stopping in the Swiss Alps, Ked, just for 2 nights. I'm staying at 2 hostels in Switzerland, a small, very wealthy country with not a lot of culture, I would assume, other than chocolate, money, and Swiss Army knives. It'll be really cool to visit Switzerland. I heard a burger there is like $50, so don't know if I'll be gaining any weight in Switzerland, but I will say, I'm very big on saunas and cold plunges and hot springs and that kind of stuff. The place I go to is a Nordic bathhouse here in the city where I live in, and the Nordic bathhouses are hot, cold. You do sauna, cold plunge, cold shower, whatever, all that. I Googled some of that stuff, and over there, they are different, and they're not Nordic because I'm not going to Northern Europe. I'm going to a hammam, Hammam. It's a Turkish bath. So not Nordic, but Turkish. It's a type of steam bath or a place of public bathing associated with the Islamic world. Oh, shit, it's Islam? Fuck that. No, I'm just kidding. And was inherited from the model of the Roman. Oh, that's sick. From the Roman Empire? Okay. So, interestingly enough, there is a hammam. I hope I'm saying that right. Let's find out again. I like doing these pronunciations now. Hammam pronunciation. Let's see if I was right.
Hammam.
Fuck yeah, hammam. So it's like you're saying, huh, Mom? What'd you say, Mom? Clean your room, huh, Mom? Fuck that. You clean my shit. So there's a place right across the street from the first hostel I'm staying in Switzerland. That's a hammam. So that's going to be a really cool time for me to reset from running around Paris and shit. And then if I have time, I would love to do a little bit of hiking in Switzerland and see those mountains. Don't know how much time I'll have, but definitely going to the hammam, 100%, without a doubt. It's right across the street. I'm doing that. Fuck, so if a burger costs $50, I don't want to even know how much this shit's going to cost. But hey, YOLO. You only live once. Yala. Players only live once. That's the motto. Polo. Yeah, but anyways, that's what we got, man. We got no intro wording, just the music. We got resetting, slowing down, being conscious of worry, because I'm not going to just stop worrying, right? But being conscious of it is pretty cool. And I'll definitely report when I get back. I'm really excited to go. I'll be back Christmas Eve. And yeah, man, just going to yoga and observing the full moon and having these 3 days off has really been what I needed. Because I've been in full-blown Goggins mode this past 2 months, getting after it, selling insurance and working out and shit. And so I'm going to take some time, and it's fun. It's fun. I love being creative, and I love trying new things and finding myself in these areas. So I think what I'm going to do today, instead of playing the outro theme song, we're going to do a little guitar. And I don't think I'm going to even think about what I'm going to play. I'm just going to play, because it signifies, it's a metaphor for overthinking. And feeling misunderstood and worrying and all of these character defects. So, to anyone out there, there is a fucking solution. Just trust me on that. I've been through way worse and came out on the other side. So, I know damn well in my heart that if I can do it, so can you. So with that, God bless you. Merry Christmas. And here's a little jam session for you.